There is a whisper inside you that you've ignored for years, a silent pulse that hums beneath your name, your job, your smile. It speaks in the moments between thoughts, when the world goes quiet and the truth has room to breathe. You felt it before. That uneasy electricity under your skin, that sense that something vast and untamed lives behind your eyes. Jung called it the shadow, the hidden twin, the part of you that remembers what the light has forgotten. You've spent your life burying it under manners, expectations, and masks, pretending it isn't there. But it watches you. It moves in dreams, in anger, in the words you almost say. You are taught to fear it, to believe that darkness means danger. But that darkness is simply depth. What you've called bad is only what's been exiled from your awareness. The shadow is not here to destroy you. It's here to make you whole. Every fear is a gate, every shame a locked room in your own castle. So listen closely now. The whisper is growing louder. Comment. I am not afraid of my shadow. If you feel it rising, the hidden power you've always carried, waiting to be seen. Number 2, the descent begins. To meet your shadow is to descend into the place you swore you'd never go, the underworld of your own mind. It doesn't begin with light or clarity, but with confusion, a slow unraveling of certainty. You start to question who you are when no one's watching. You start to notice the small betrayals, the smiles you fake, the desires you silence, the emotions you swallow whole, because they don't fit the image you've built. The descent begins when you stop pretending. Jung said that one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. That means walking straight into the parts of you that tremble. The envy, the rage, the craving, the shame, all the fragments you've disowned because the world told you they were unworthy. But they are alive. They are waiting to be reclaimed. The descent isn't punishment, it's initiation. The deeper you fall, the more of yourself you uncover. Each layer peels back another illusion, another mask that was never truly yours. You realize that your pain was never your enemy, it was your teacher. Every scar a symbol, every heartbreak a torch in the dark corridors of your psyche. The shadow doesn't whisper to destroy you, it whispers to wake you up. It shows you where you've been split in two, where your spirit is still bound by fear. When you stop running, it stops chasing. When you face it, it kneels before you. That's the paradox. Your demons bow to the courage of your gaze. So breathe. Let the descent happen. Let the noise of the surface fade until you can hear the heartbeat of the earth echoing in your chest. This is where transformation begins. Not in the heavens, but in the soil of your being. If you're ready to step deeper, to face what sleeps beneath the mirror, comment, I descend to rise. The fall is not the end. It's the initiation of power. Down here, in the shadow, something ancient stirs. A forgotten strength that remembers your true name. And once you meet it, you'll never be the same again. Number 3, the mirror of monsters. When you go deep enough into yourself, you eventually meet the monsters. They are not creatures of legend, but reflections, distorted images of everything you've denied. The mirror they hold doesn't lie. It shows you the hunger for power you've called wrong, the jealousy you've hidden behind politeness, the grief you've numbed with distraction. These are not enemies, they are messengers. Jung said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And that is what this mirror demands, that you stop dividing your soul into good and evil, acceptable and unacceptable, light and dark. The monsters are the guardians of your truth. Each one stands at the threshold of something you've lost: courage, creativity, passion, freedom. To reclaim them, you must look without flinching. When you face your inner monster, you dissolve its power to terrify. You realize it has your eyes, your voice, your heartbeat. It is you, exiled and forgotten. The world teaches us to chase light, to purge the darkness, but light without shadow is blindness. You cannot see depth without contrast. You cannot be whole if you amputate half of your being. So stand before your monsters. Look at the fangs of your rage, the claws of your desire, the fire of your defiance. Beneath every terrifying face is a wounded child longing to be accepted. Integration begins not with battle, but with recognition. You do not destroy the shadow, you welcome it home. Each time you do, a piece of your soul returns. The mirror shifts. The monsters begin to change shape, less like demons, more like allies. They are your instincts, your raw potential, your life force rising from the grave of repression. This is the alchemy of the psyche, turning fear into strength, shame into wisdom, and darkness into light. Do not run. The monsters are mirrors of your forgotten power. Comment: I see my monsters clearly, if you feel their presence now, watching from the corners of your awareness. Remember, they only chase those who refuse to look. When you turn and face them, you become what they always protected, the untamed, luminous self that no longer hides behind masks. Number 4, the fire of transformation. After the mirror shatters, something begins to burn. It's not destruction, it's purification. The fire of transformation doesn't arrive as comfort. It comes as heat, as pressure, as the slow melting of everything false within you. Jung said that there is no coming to consciousness without pain, and he was right. The moment you face your shadow, the illusion of control begins to die. You feel yourself breaking open, stripped bare, raw, and alive. This is the psychic furnace, the place where your fragmented self is reforged into wholeness. Every emotion you've avoided becomes fuel for the flame. Anger turns to clarity, grief becomes compassion, fear becomes energy. You begin to understand that nothing inside you was ever useless or wrong. It was only misunderstood. The fire consumes your masks, the borrowed voices, the versions of yourself you performed to be accepted. One by one, they turn to ash. What remains is something primal and unpolished, something that cannot be tamed by the expectations of others. You feel power, not the shallow kind that dominates, but the deep power that simply is. It hums quietly, like the earth before a storm. In this fire, opposites unite. The saint and the sinner, the light and the dark, the angel and the beast. You realize they were never enemies. They were always two halves of one consciousness seeking reunion. To be reborn, you must first burn. The flames carve truth into your bones. The pain you feared becomes the teacher you trust. You start to see that destruction is sacred when it clears the way for authenticity. The old world collapses within you, but you don't crumble. You rise. This is the alchemy of becoming, to die to who you were and awaken to who you truly are. Let the fire do its work. Don't resist the transformation, participate in it. Let it take everything that isn't real until only your essence remains, untouched, unbroken, and free. When you emerge from the flames, the world won't recognize you, but you will finally recognize yourself. Comment: I rise through fire. If you feel the heat of transformation already burning in your soul, shaping the real you from within the ashes. Number 5, the awakening of the inner king. When the fire has burned through illusion, what rises from the ashes is sovereignty. This is not about crowns or thrones. It's about inner authority. The king or queen archetype is the ruling center of the psyche, the one who governs chaos without denying it. When this archetype awakens, you stop seeking permission to exist. You stop asking the world to tell you who you are. You begin to move from an inner compass, steady and unshaken. Jung believed that the self, capital S, was the totality of all opposites united, the divine pattern beneath personality. To awaken this center is to stand in that pattern consciously, to rule your inner kingdom with both power and compassion. The tyrant in you must die, and the true ruler must rise. A tyrant controls because they are afraid. A sovereign guides because they understand. You learn to listen to the voices inside you, the warrior, the lover, the magician, the fool, and seat them all at your round table. Every part of you has a place. Every instinct becomes an ally when ruled by awareness. This is maturity, not the absence of chaos, but the ability to hold it calmly, The awakened king or queen does not suppress the shadow, they integrate it into their reign. They know that creation and destruction are twin forces of life, that mercy and strength must coexist. You stop living reactively. You start creating consciously. Decisions no longer come from fear, but from deep alignment with what you are becoming. The crown is not an ornament, it is responsibility. The weight of it is sacred, for it symbolizes mastery over the inner world. You begin to see others differently too, not as threats, not as mirrors of your wounds, but as fellow rulers learning to govern their own realms. The kingdom you build within begins to shape the world around you. Your presence becomes order in the midst of confusion, peace in the eye of storms. You radiate authority that needs no approval, because it comes from truth, and truth is untouchable. The king or queen within you doesn't shout, they simply are. Their power is quiet, absolute, and rooted in self-knowledge. Comment, "I claim my inner throne," if you feel that sacred authority stirring within you, ready to take its rightful place at the center of your being. Number 6. The dance between light and shadow. After the crown settles, you realize sovereignty is not static, it's a dance. The king or queen within you must learn to move with both light and shadow, to breathe through contradiction without collapsing into extremes. Life will test this balance. The light tempts you with purity, with the illusion that goodness means perfection. The shadow tempts you with power, with the hunger to dominate or withdraw. Yet both are sacred rhythms of the same eternal movement. Jung wrote that the shadow is 90% pure gold, meaning the darkness we fear holds the essence of our vitality. To deny it is to cut off the root of our being, but to be consumed by it is to forget the sky. The secret lies in the middle path, the conscious dance where opposites intertwine without annihilating each other. You begin to see that growth doesn't mean eliminating darkness. It means learning to walk through it with eyes open. Light reveals, shadow deepens. Together they give life texture and meaning. Without darkness, light is flat. Without light, darkness is blind. The psyche thrives on tension. It evolves by holding paradox. When you stop running from contradiction, you start to live in truth. This is not the comfort of clarity, it's the mystery of wholeness. The dancer who knows both steps can move with grace through chaos. Every fall becomes choreography. Every stumble becomes part of the rhythm. You learn to forgive yourself, not because you are flawless, but because you are human, divinely human. The light in you is not brighter than the dark, it simply shines through it. Every scar becomes a stained glass window for your soul's illumination. You stop trying to win against yourself and begin to collaborate with your totality. The heart expands when it can hold contradictions without judgment. Love and anger, peace and ambition, serenity and wildness. This is integration, the sacred marriage between heaven and hell within your chest. It's the philosopher's stone of the inner world, turning lead into gold. The light teaches you compassion, the shadow teaches you strength. Together they teach you how to exist fully. And when you embody that, others feel it. They sense the balance in your presence, the stillness behind your eyes. You no longer preach harmony, you are harmony. You become the living symbol of equilibrium, the dance itself, both flame and darkness, intertwined in eternal motion. Comment, I dance with both my light and shadow if you feel that sacred rhythm awakening inside you right now. Number 7, the serpent of renewal. In the stillness after the dance, something ancient begins to stir, the serpent of renewal, coiled deep in your unconscious. It moves slowly, deliberately, winding its way through the labyrinth of your psyche, shedding its old skin as it ascends. This serpent is not evil, it is instinct, transformation, and primal life force. Jung understood the serpent as a symbol of rebirth, the cycle of death and regeneration that drives the soul toward wholeness. When you awaken this energy, it doesn't ask for worship. It demands awareness. It brings chaos at first, because it dismantles the structures you've outgrown. It burns away false identities, false beliefs, false loves. Everything built on fear begins to crumble. But in that collapse, you are freed. The serpent's movement is circular, eternal. It devours its own tail, symbolizing the union of beginning and end, creation and destruction. As it rises, you feel vitality returning where numbness once lived. Old pain turns into motion. Old wounds become wisdom. The serpent teaches that healing is not about perfection, it's about evolution. Each skin you shed reveals another truth, another hidden strength. You are not losing yourself. You are revealing the deeper layers of your being. This is the secret pulse of life. To die and be reborn again and again, until only what is authentic remains. The serpent also reminds you to stay grounded. Power without consciousness becomes poison. Transformation without humility becomes tyranny. So, you learn to bow before the mystery of your own unfolding. You learn to let go of control, trusting that destruction is not chaos, but sacred order disguised. The serpent's wisdom whispers, to become new, you must first dissolve. So you allow it. You let the old stories dissolve in the molten center of your awareness. You feel your energy coil, expand, and rise like smoke through the spine of your spirit. You become the bridge between earth and heaven, matter and mind, instinct and divinity. The serpent does not grant you new power. It returns the power you buried. It teaches you to wield it gently, wisely, fiercely. When its ascent is complete, you stand renewed. Not as the person you were, but as the being you were always meant to become. Comment: I shed my old skin and rise anew if you feel that serpent stirring within, calling you to awaken to your own endless rebirth. Number 8, the sacred wound. Every soul carries a sacred wound, the invisible mark carved by experience, the fracture through which light and darkness both enter. It is the one pain you cannot outrun, the ache that never fully fades, no matter how much you grow or achieve. Jung knew that this wound is not a curse but a compass. It points toward the deepest work your soul came here to do. You see, the wound is the place where the ego breaks open and the self begins to breathe. It's the moment when the persona, the mask you wear for the world, cracks and something infinitely older peers through. Pain is the midwife of consciousness. Every heartbreak, betrayal, loss, or failure is an initiation designed to strip away illusion and reveal the core of your being. The wound humbles you. It dissolves pride, dismantles arrogance, and forces you to listen inward. It teaches empathy, compassion, and depth, gifts that cannot be learned through comfort. The world glorifies strength, but Jungian strength is born from vulnerability. The hero is not the one who never bleeds, but the one who bleeds consciously, who knows how to turn pain into meaning. The wound becomes sacred the moment you stop hiding it and start honoring it. When you bring awareness into suffering, it transforms into wisdom. When you deny it, it festers into shadow. Integration demands that you revisit the place of hurt, not to wallow, but to understand. Beneath every wound lies a forgotten truth about your essence. Maybe your pain taught you boundaries or tenderness or the capacity to love without losing yourself. Whatever it gave you, it was never meaningless. In the language of symbols, wounds are doorways. They open into the temple of your inner life. Through them, you meet the archetype of the healer, the part of you that knows how to mend, not by erasing the scar, but by turning it into art. The scar is proof of transformation. It says, I was broken, but I learned to hold the pieces differently. Jung said that the wounded healer is the one who can guide others because they have walked through the fire themselves. Your pain becomes your medicine. Your suffering becomes your offering. The sacred wound binds humanity together. It reminds us that none of us are untouched by life, that we are all walking one another home through the corridors of our shared imperfection. To reject your wound is to reject your humanity. To embrace it is to reclaim your divinity. So, look at your scars with reverence, not regret. They are the script your soul wrote to remind you who you are. Comment, "My wound is my wisdom," if you feel ready to honor the place where pain became the seed of your transformation, the sacred reminder that healing and awakening are born from the same flame. Number 9. The return to the inner temple. After walking through the wound, after burning, shedding, and dancing with your shadow, you begin to sense something extraordinary. A stillness, a deep center that has been there all along, waiting for your return. This is the inner temple, the sanctum of your psyche, where the self resides like a silent flame in an ancient hall. You don't enter it through striving or achievement. You enter it through surrender. The temple reveals itself only when the noise of identity fades, when you are quiet enough to hear the pulse beneath your thoughts. Jung called this the process of individuation, the journey back to your original wholeness, the point where opposites merge and the ego bows before the self. Inside this inner temple, there are no masks, no roles, no labels. The warrior lays down their sword, the lover releases attachment, the ruler removes the crown, and all archetypes dissolve into unity. You feel the weight of duality lift, as though you are breathing in both night and dawn at once. Every contradiction within you finds its place here. The pain and the peace sit side by side, no longer enemies but reflections of the same eternal source. The temple is built from every moment you thought you were lost. Each failure, each heartbreak, each fall has laid its stones. You realize the journey was never about becoming something more. It was about remembering what was never lost. The self is not a goal, it is your nature. It watches patiently as you wander through 1,000 masks, waiting for you to look inward and recognize its gaze as your own. In this space, time dissolves. The child you were, the adult you've become, and the being you are yet to be all meet in the same breath. You are both seed and tree, both question and answer. And in this sacred awareness, compassion flows like water. You no longer judge others by their masks, for you see the same divine struggle in their eyes. Every person becomes a mirror, every experience a teacher. The world itself begins to shimmer as an extension of your inner landscape. What you heal within, you heal without. This is not escapism, it is participation in the great unfolding. You begin to live deliberately, to move through life as a conscious dreamer shaping reality through presence. The temple is not a destination you visit once, it is the ground you now walk upon. You carry it in your heartbeat, in your silence, in your gaze. It becomes your home, your refuge, your center of gravity. From this temple, every action becomes ritual, every word an invocation of meaning. Comment, "I have returned to my inner temple." If you feel that sacred stillness awakening within you, guiding you home to the source you never truly left. Number 10. The shadow crown. When you emerge from the inner temple, you carry something unseen yet unmistakable. The shadow crown. It isn't made of gold or light. It's forged from every truth you were once afraid to face. This crown glows faintly, not with brilliance, but with depth. It represents the marriage of every fragment you have reclaimed, the child, the warrior, the lover, the monster, the healer. Each one has bent the knee before your awareness, and in doing so has become part of your sovereignty. This is what it means to be whole, not pure, but complete. The shadow crown reminds you that enlightenment is not escape, it is embodiment. It's walking through the world carrying both the storm and the sun in your chest, knowing that darkness and light are not enemies but eternal companions. You no longer seek perfection, you seek presence. You no longer fear emotion, you allow it to move through you like music. Power has become quiet now, steady, grounded, and ancient. You've learned that true mastery is not about control, but communion. You stand between worlds, both human and divine, both wound and wisdom. The journey was never about finding light, but remembering that you are the light that illuminates the dark. And now you wear it, the shadow crown, symbol of balance, of depth, of authenticity. The world will feel your transformation even if it doesn't understand it, because those who face their shadows radiate an energy that cannot be faked, the calm of someone who has met themselves fully. So, as you step back into the rhythm of life, remember this: your power was never lost, only hidden beneath fear. Now it burns quietly, guiding you forward. Comment, "I wear the shadow crown," if you claim your wholeness, and remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your awakening has just begun.